Good evening and welcome. It's Monday night and that can only mean it's the ILFL Soccer Night sponsored by Hawk and Eagle. Good evening. Welcome to the show. There is only one thing to talk about. It's the Unity Cup that took place yesterday. 8 teams looking for 4 places in 2 finals, but there could only be 1 winner in each. Those teams all turned up and took part in what was highly competitive, entertaining football. We have highlights from those semi-finals. We'll discuss who did their best and who didn't have luck on their side yesterday after you've seen a combination of highlights from yesterday's semi-finals. Roll the VT. And there it was, a lot of football being played, a lot of football that you saw happening there. We saw two sets of semi-finals taking place, and I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll talk about the Legends Cup semi-final first, which was a bit of a nail-biter in both events there. Tower Hamlets Vets and London Tigers, they went at 0-0 after regulation time, and then there was one team that eased through on penalties. Same happened in the following semi-final. Shubbage Bangla and Shadwell Masters. It was a 2-2 finish, and then down to another nail-biting penalty shootout. Cameron Zaman, Chairman of ILFL, you're here in the studio with me again this evening. Let's talk about that game between Shubbage and Shadwell. It was a good game. Shubbage taking the lead 2-0 and Shadwell having to use their experience to come back.
It was a fantastic game, David. Shubbage, they were really fired up. They came with the full squad of about 18 players. They had an artillery of supporters on the side. They even brought their own lunch that they shared with everybody else. So they were organised. I think we need to applaud them on sort of reaching the final in the beginning, because they've come far. They've come from, Southend and other areas, and they're not a London-based team. So for them to come and compete against a lot of the bigger clubs and go to the final, they've done very, very well. And they took the game by storm in the first half.
They did
2-0, they relaxed a little bit, they took some of the players off, but this experience of Shadwell told, and we came back 2-2, and I think if we had 5 more minutes, I think Shubbage would have been,
when it got down to the lottery with the penalties, it was Shubbage that made it. We've also got Mesbah Ahmed in the studio with us this evening. Good evening, Mesbah. Thanks very much for coming in and welcome. Just a quick word on London Tigers. Again, an uncharacteristic 0-0, and then the luck of the draw. The penalties took you through.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, the penalties, when it went to penalties, everybody said it is a luck, really. And I think it took us about, 8-9 penalties, I think, before we decided it. And some of our players didn't want to even take it after the first five penalties. A lot of them didn't want to take it, and it was like quite tough forcing people. For the first time, we were forcing individuals to take it. Even the last person, John, when he scored the last penalty, he was even shocked.
Surprised.
He was shocked himself
at his own ability.
I think he wasn't really shocked about scoring. He was more shocked about the ball going in the net. So I think, yeah, it's quite a bit of a hard journey, I would say, this tournament. But I think that's because everybody's raising the bar of the standard of veterans football, going back, I would say, about 4 or 5 years ago when I started the Vets five-a-side tournament once, and having about 8 teams. Now every year, so 5 years on, every year there's 35-year-olds are coming in now.
And Tigers
and
making
they're all
another
healthy players. They're all playing good level
again as well. There were two other semi-finals that took place. Beaumont beating Aberfeldy in a Super Cup semi-final, and Tower Hamlets beating London Tigers. We'll talk about that one in the next section of the show. Maybe Mesbah won't want to. But we'll take a break right now, and we'll come back and we'll talk about those Super Cup semi-finals and the finals of both Legends and Super Cup right after this break.
You are watching ILFL Soccer Nights.
Sponsored by Hawk and Eagle.